What are we waiting for? Come on, let's get it going. Okay, here we go. All right, you'll see that I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to this. So, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I am very frustrated right now. I think I'm done here. I've come up with my design. We're doing our best here, okay? Want to build a Shopify store but don't know how? Well, guess what? Me neither. What's going on, folks? It's Taj from Printify, and like me, if you've always wanted to build a Shopify store but get kind of intimidated with the internet language, web design, programming, all the weird internet stuff that stops you from building your own store page, well, guess what? You have come to the right place, because starting a Shopify store has a lot of benefits, all right? If this is your first store, you get to make it exactly the way you want. After all, it is your own website. You get to have the colors, your logo, and you're not dependent on a third-party marketplace or platform like Etsy telling you how everything should look, what rates they can take away, what charges they can add, and also you're not competing with a bunch of other people on a marketplace as well. Now, if you already have a marketplace and you're thinking about starting your own Shopify store, that is a fantastic decision, because one of the things that you're trying to do is grow your online presence. You're trying to get as many people back to your items as possible. So in the future, if you want to expand your businesses, the more place you sell online, the better. And finally, the other reason that Shopify works best for sellers is because of the marketing. Marketing is huge, especially because you want to get people to actually buy your items. You got to get people to your store. Now, why that's better than on a marketplace like Etsy is that on Etsy, you're competing with a lot of other people. And because people really shop on Etsy through that search bar, all of your promotional effort to stand out really happens within your mockups and those listing titles. But with Shopify, you are marketing directly to your consumer. There is no in-between person. There is no in-between platform telling you how it works. It is all there for you. So if you already have some bestsellers on Etsy and you want to start your own Shopify store, Etsy is a great place, or any other marketplace is a great place to start out testing them. But later, Shopify is where you want to end up with all those bestsellers and all those customers that come directly and buy directly from you. So before we start this, let's lay out some conditions. Like I said, I don't know anything about Shopify. I've seen a lot of it on our YouTube channel. I've talked to a lot of people who have created their own Shopify stores, but that is it. So basically, you and I are starting one-to-one. We have the same level of experience, and we're gonna figure it out together. Now, throughout this process, full disclosure, you'll probably see me get frustrated. You'll probably see me make some mistakes. Come on, let me do my customization already. What are you doing right now? What are we waiting for? Come on, let's get it going. What? Why aren't you doing that? How come you're not adjusting for me? Why is this happening to me? We're doing this together, and just like you, I'm about to figure it out and hopefully make some clarity for you as well. So if there's some points in the video where you feel like you want to stop, pause, work on your store a little, and then continue, that's great. Do that for yourself. So let's create a checklist of all the things that we want to accomplish in this video. First, we want to establish our niche. We want to quickly create a design and quickly create a product, so we have something to put on our Shopify store. Next, we're going to get into Shopify. Pick a theme, find out what all the components of those themes are, and put them in place so we at least have a plan for what we want to do. Then we're going to connect our Printify store to Shopify so that our products get added and we can finally see our products showing up on our store. After that, we're going to work through our site navigation, get our products in place, work through our product pages, and make sure essentially that our site looks complete. Then we're going to go to the back end and work out all the other details about our business, our shipping, our payments, our policies, and even our domain. Once we've got that all settled, we'll do a test navigation of our site, make sure everything is working, and try to figure out what I did right and what I got wrong. And at that point, our site and our Shopify store will be ready to go. Now, throughout this video, you're gonna see me go through some tools like Adobe Express, ChatGPT, Printify, of course, but there are also other tools that you can use while you are creating your site. So don't be intimidated by what I'm using. If you have other tools that you're using, that's totally fine. This is just what I'm doing, and you can feel free to follow along or use completely different tools. So what are we waiting for? Let's dive into it and create our products. Now, one of the hardest parts of starting any online store is figuring out what you want to sell. Establishing that niche, creating those designs, choosing those products can be the hardest thing and probably the thing that takes you the most time when you're creating an online store. So I'm going to go with an idea that my friend Joe Robert came up with, where he said that you can take forever, months even, to come up with those designs. But if you want to start selling right away, one of the things that you should do is create what's called a minimum viability store. Now, what that means is you can just pick one or two products, create a couple designs, and just get it up there. Start selling. You can create more designs and add them to your store later, but if you're just working on designs and that's been the thing that's been putting you off from starting your own store, pick a product within your niche, establish a few designs, put them up there, and just start selling. So here was my idea. I thought of different niches that I could do, and one of the things that I noticed that sells really well online is party-themed products, celebration-themed products, specifically balloons. So I looked all over Etsy and I found that there's a lot of party balloons that you could buy. But the thing that's missing is sort of these anti-celebration or sad or sarcastic balloons. Every time you see a balloon, it's usually like, hooray, well done, you did a fantastic job. My idea is to offer balloons with funny sayings or sad sayings to create like an anti-celebration themed store, right? So now that I've established my niche, I also need to think about my buyer. And this is something that you have to think about way in advance because it'll help you when you're designing. Who are the people that are actually going to be buying your products? My audience that I've decided are going to be females between the ages of 18 to 35, okay? So these are the people that are planning these parties, that are really into decorations, and those people that are looking for decorations, this group, females between ages 18 to 35, they're going to be the ones that are more likely to buy my product. So now I have my audience. The next thing that we're gonna do is pick out our products. Now, of course, I'm selling party balloons, which makes it a lot easier. There's a couple options on Printify that I can use for that. But if you're just starting out, try to focus on that one type of product or two type of products, because the designs that you will create will be geared towards those two products at first. The more products you have, the more different types of designs that you have to create to work with that product. So remember, our goal here is to start selling as quickly as possible. So now that we've established our niche, we know who we're selling to, we know the products that we want to create, it is time to come up with our design. Once again, the hardest part. Now, luckily for me, I am coming up with text-based designs because I'm not a very good designer, but also text-based designs are probably the designs that work best on these balloons. So I went into my good old friend ChatGPT, I told it about the concept of the store that I was trying to come up with, and it did give me a few options for text that I could create into designs. I also brainstormed a few myself. Now, while I was doing this, I came up with a name for my company, and I kind of was inspired by this idea of UFOs, right? Unidentified flying objects. And I think like that's kind of what my balloons are. They're kind of these weird flying objects. And I came up with the name of my company as well, which is Flying Saucer Balloons. So I have the name of my company. I have the text that I've created quickly with ChatGPT. So now let's dive into Adobe Express and quickly create a design. All right, so here we are on the front page of Adobe Express, and very quickly before we create our design, I am going to show you the logo that I made for my company or for my business. It's Flying Saucer Balloon. So as you can see, I kind of made a logo that looks like a flying saucer. I also, using this handy page function, created different color types to put on different balloons, different color backgrounds. And you can see that I've also started to establish my brand colors. So unlike those balloons I saw on Etsy, these are light text. There's a lot of bright colors, yellow, red, blue, kind of carnival colors, which I want to come across in my company. And of course, remember, this is supposed to be funny balloons that you can use for your events. So I'm thinking clowns, I'm thinking circus, I'm thinking positivity, or at least something that comes off as that. And this is the brand identity that you can see I'm starting to create. Now, like I said, we're going to start off first with our Printify products. So let's just go to the catalog real quick. Okay. And I'm simply just going to go and search up balloons. Okay. So now I've opened up my product in my product creator. And before I do anything else, I'm going to go to this information panel to download this design template. Now, this design template is really handy because it tells us everything that we need to know about creating a design specifically for this product. So let's see if we open it up here. It's going to give us a couple different options for files depending on what program you're using. I'm going to open PNG. All right. And it's going to give me the resolution I need, the pixels, the size, and it's also going to give me a stencil, which will come in really handy. So let's go to Adobe Express and just create our design space first. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to pick a custom size. I want it to be a square because that is how my stencil looks, right? Or at least the outside of my stencil. And I'm going to see that this is the pixel count. So this is the total size of this square, not the circle itself, but the square that you want to create in or the print area. So I'm just going to put that in. So it's 3463 pixels by 3463 pixels, right? Perfect square. I've got my canvas open, but remember, I'm designing inside a circle. I've got the total size of the print area, but I need to design within that specific circle. So I need my template to do that. Now, what I like about this is I can just go and upload that template directly onto my canvas, right? It's the right size. There we go. But I still got this circle, right? That is where my design is going to be. So very quickly, what I'm going to do, because I don't want this template to be there the whole time, is I'm just going to quickly find a shape and fill in that circle. So I have a circle shape, which I found going through the Elements tab on my Adobe Express. I'm going to put it in place, the exact size of this template. So now I have the exact design area that I need to fill. Right? And now what I can do is go ahead, quickly click on that template layer and delete it. There we go. Now we have the perfect shape. But we still have a black balloon, which is not what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create something that's a little bit more bright. So if I click on this circle, I'm going to fill it with a color that I want. Now, this is going to be the color of my balloon. So like I said, I want my company to be bright. I want it to be full of colors, not what people usually see on Etsy, which is dark balloons, gold colors, gold letters. I want it to be bright everything. So let's just pick yellow, the brightest color that I can see. I love that yellow. Okay. And very quickly, like I said, I'm not the best at coming up with designs, but I want to fill it with text. So if you go to this right panel and you go to the text section, you can see that like Canva, Adobe also has templates that you can use to fill in right away, right? Replace the text, whatever. But I'm going to look for something a little bit more wacky. So one of the first designs that I'm going to come up with that I found in my ChatGPT list was the phrase, "This is fine." Right? You see that meme with the burning dog or the dog in the burning building. This is fine. It's kind of like, it's okay. It's not great. This is fine. I'm sure we all have places in our lives where we feel like that. And this balloon would be perfect for those occasions. So let's find something that's a little wacky. I'm just going to get rid of this, which is something that I created, and just put in, "This is fine." Right? Now, I want something that's a bit childish, right? Like somebody drew it on, because these are supposed to be kind of wacky balloons with weird messages. So I want it to look like not a typical balloon with just loud text. I want it to be a little bit simple, focus on the text itself. So let's look at what kind of fonts we have. I'm going to go to this font section, more fonts, and Adobe's broken this down very well. I want something a little bit fun. Okay, so let's see here. You can try out different options. You can even go to the recommended one, recommended section up top, where it gives you a bunch of other text similar to the one that you're looking for. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, just so we can see it fill up that space. Now remember, this is a balloon, so it's going to be curved. You don't want to fill up the whole space, but we're going to try to find a text that works here. Let's see. Ooh, I like this. This one is pretty cool because it kind of looks like somebody's just written it on. All right, cool. I like that sort of marker style. People are going to look at this and go, "Hey, wait, is that an actual balloon or did somebody just write that on there?" I kind of like that vibe. All right, cool. So I like that text. I'm going to pick a color for it that's also very bright, that contrasts the way that I want. I'm going to choose red. And yeah, I like this, but you know what? I think I'm going to just do something with levels here. So maybe I'll go "this is" as the start, make this a little bit bigger, angle it, right? Yeah. I want to put it in the center of my balloon because that's where people are going to see it the most. So maybe go like this, and then I'm going to do another text box. So quickly, you can either go back to this text section, add a new text box. I'm going to be a little bit easier about this and just copy that layer. So all I did was I went Control C, Control V, I copied it. Look, I have a new text layer, easy as pie. And I'm just going to do fine on another level, but I'm going to make it bigger. Yeah. And by the way, if you're looking at this right now and you're going, hey man, this Talish guy, he is probably not that great at design. You know what? I just want you to remember, I'm somebody's little boy too, okay? I'm doing my best, all right? So here we go. This is my balloon. This is fine. Really simple design. If you wanted to spend more time on it, I think it's looking a little empty. So maybe what I'll do is I'll add a little line underneath. So I'll go to elements again. And again, just like Canva before, they have a great library of all the different elements that you want, whether it's shapes, backgrounds, icons, there's a whole rabbit hole that you can go down with this. I highly recommend playing around with it. But if you've used Canva before, it's not that different. But if you're more of an Adobe fan, this is probably the tool for you. So I'm looking for a line. I'll just put in line, see what I come up with. Okay, I want some shapes. Oh, cool. This is fine. I like this one. Literally, this is fine. I chose my design. I'm going to make it the same shade as my other colors. Now look, if I wanted to color match, I simply go pick this dropper, do that. Okay, cool. Make it a little bit bigger. Too big. Scroll it down here. Okay, it's my design is starting to take shape. I like that. And for now, like I said, designing is a huge rabbit hole. We can spend forever doing this, but very quickly, I think I'm done here. I've come up with my design. I'm going to fiddle with it a little bit more, but I think I'm pretty happy with this. So once I'm happy with it, I'm going to add my brand, my logo. So I'm going to go back to my stuff. Open my logo. Now, what's cool about Adobe Express is that you can pick to add all of them. You can add them as pages, these images, or you can add them as a specific design. So I am going to choose the one that I want. I think this option will go best with my balloon. And here we go. Oh. And here we go. Going to make it smaller. Now I've also branded my balloon, which is great because then anytime somebody sees this balloon and if anybody else tries to copy it, my branding is on there. It'll make it a lot harder for them to do it. Great. Okay, so I've created my design, and before we move it to our Printify product, what I want to do is remove this background, because if I save it like this right now, this whole image is going to be saved with the white background and all, and I don't want that. I just want the area that I want my design to cover, this circle. So I'm going to quickly remove this background, which you can also do on Printify. We have a handy tool for that in our product creator, but let's not create more work for ourselves. So I'm going to go to this top option where it says change background color. And if you had another print area, this is a great opportunity to check out the colors and try out different combinations of styles. But remember, I don't want this background. So I'm going to choose this option here, which is the white box with the red line through it. Basically, that means I don't want anything back there. So if I click that, you see my background disappears, and now this design is ready for my Printify product. So I'm going to download it, and then I'm going to take it straight to my product here. I'm going to upload my design, and as you can see, it fits perfectly. But one thing you want to be aware of is this bleed area. Now, this bleed area will be left blank. It's not a part of the area that our design covers, but let me show you something that happens very quickly if we leave this bleed area blank. If I preview this, you'll notice that in my mockup, there's a white line around my design, and that doesn't quite look right. And I wouldn't have noticed that unless I looked very closely at that mockup to see how that bleed area plays into effect with my design. So what I'm going to do is just make my design a little bit bigger, which is fine. It still covers, my text still covers the inside of the print area. I'm also going to add the design on the back, do the same thing, because I want my customers to get my message wherever they looked at it, which is different actually, because when I see these balloons on Etsy, one of the things that I notice is A lot of the balloons only have the design on one side, which is strange because if I'm paying for a specialty balloon, I want everybody to see that design no matter which angle they look at the balloon with. So anyway, there's some marketing going on here. But now if I preview my balloon, you'll see that the bleed area is totally covered. My text still looks fine. Everything's good. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to save my product. At this point, you can save your designs. You can upload your own mockups as well. But just for the sake of time, because we can go down a whole other rabbit hole with mockups, we're going to save these ones. Okay. So now if you are on Etsy, you'd put a lot of thought into this title to make sure it shows up on Etsy's search engine and compared to other products as well. You'd have to figure out what the most competitive keywords are. And basically, you don't have to do that with a Shopify store. There is a certain level where you want your keywords to register for search engines. But honestly, I know that when people look at my balloon, they're going to want to know what's on my balloon. So my title for this is just going to be the text on my balloon. This is fine. This is fine. Party balloon. The great part about balloons is you don't really have to specify any sizes. It's just one size fits all. So I've made it really easy on myself to start selling very quickly. Of course, depending on the product that you have, this will take you a little bit more time. You want to fill this product description to make it a little bit more individual. But like I said, I want to get to creating my store. We'll figure that part out later. Can quickly edit the price here. I can edit the profit that I want to make. I can just edit the price on its own, or I can choose my profit margin. So I think that'll be easier for now. Let's say that I want to make a profit of 20% and we'll leave it at that. Cool, everything's adjusted. I haven't published it yet because I haven't created a store yet. So we're going to do that just now. But in the meantime, let's save it as a draft. So there you have it. I have quickly gone in and created a design. I've put it on a product. Now, just to save myself and you some time, I've also quickly created some other products as well. So our Shopify store won't just have the one product. But now we can finally get to the part we've all been waiting for, which is setting up our store on Shopify. Okay, folks, here we are, finally on the Shopify homepage, ready to create our store. We're going to set up an account together, and then we're just going to start building. Now, I don't know about you, but it's getting a little hot in here. I'm starting to feel a little bit nervous. And if you're nervous too, let's take it together step by step. I'm going to be with you, so let's do this. Okay, so I see that there's an offer for a free trial here. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to sign up with my email. Okay, so here we are. Let's start creating our account. So I want to create an online store. I'll do that. What best describes you? I'm just starting. Hopefully you are too. If you haven't already, click the other option. Digital products, print-on-demand products. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Perfect. All right, now it's time for us to choose a plan. So let's go ahead and just choose the basic one to start. And there's my neighbor's dog going off. It's okay, buddy. Let it out too. I'm struggling. I'm having one of those days too. You know what I'm saying? So here we are on the front page of our Shopify dashboard. I finished putting in all my account information, and this is what I see. I see a setup guide. I see different options for me to start selling quickly, but I know through our other tutorials that the place that we want to start building our store is under our sales channels where it says online store. I'm going to go ahead and click that. I see the themes. Now, Dawn is already connected. If you've seen a couple of Shopify tutorials, you know that Dawn is the one everybody designs on. I'm not really going to go that route, so I'm going to scroll down to pick a theme for my store. So as you can see here, they have popular free themes you can use right away, but I want to see if I can find the theme library. Oh, here it is. Visit theme store. Cool. Now, if you wanted to spend more time and spend more money on this, there's a ton of paid themes. They're not cheap, as you can see. They're like $380 or $170. We're going to stick with the free option, but I want to show you something if you are considering the paid option. Now, if you look at these themes, the paid options, let's just pick any one here. I kind of like the look of this, let's say. Now, this store may look cool, but think about what makes it look cool. It's all these pictures, the designs. It does a lot like a lot of what your store relies on is basically the images that you give it. So if you look at like the way that the store is set up, it's pretty basic, but the reason this store looks good, this paid theme looks good, is because it has those high quality images. So get those ready so that when you start filling in your store, it doesn't just look blank, and it's not your fault. It's just the fact that you need those high quality images first before you start creating your store. So now, I don't have a lot of high quality images just yet, but I do have some. So in the meantime, before I invest in a $300 or $180 paid theme, let's just start with the free version and just get our building chops, eh? So obviously, Dawn is the first one, but remember, I have a minimum viability store, so I want my products to be front and center because that's literally all I have at this point. Obviously, the more stuff that I get, the more complicated and better looking site that I can build, but just right from the get-go, I think I'm kind of really into this spotlight theme. What I love is that, quite literally, as the name suggests, it puts your products front and center, which is what I want right now. I just want a store page with my products that my customers can buy from. So very quickly, I'm just going to take a look at this theme. I want to look at this demo store real quick because I want to get ideas for what my store could possibly look like. All right. Now, actually, at first glance, I like this store because it's very simple, but I kind of want there to be more places for my images. So actually, you know what? I don't know if this store might be for me. Let's go back and look at some other ones. All themes, free themes, cool. See, what I like about this is that it's a product store, but I kind of want some banner kind of images, you know? So let's look at some other options that we have here. Ooh, maybe this is kind of cool. This taste one. I like this one. I like that it also has some space for some homepage images. Unlike Spotlight, it just had products, which is cool, but I kind of want my store to be a little bit more complicated, right? I can still see the collections. I can still see that they have featured products. So you know what? Maybe I'm going to go with the taste theme. I like that a lot better. So I'm going to click Try Theme. It takes me back to my Shopify dashboard. And what I love about Shopify is that actually you can download and customize multiple themes. But actually, in the meantime, I'll just remove this Spotlight theme because I know that that's not what I want to do. Can I remove this one yet? Probably not. Not yet. Okay. That's weird. I'm going to refresh this page. I don't know why. Come on, let me do my customization already. What are you doing right now? What are we waiting for? Come on, let's get it going. Okay, here we go. All right, you'll see that I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to this. So it's uploaded. We're all fine. Everything's working. Everybody calm down. Okay, let's go ahead and start customizing. Okay, cool. So we've opened up our template in our Shopify theme creator here. I wanted to keep my page or my Shopify site simple. I want people to actually go through my site and check stuff out, but I still want them to know what I'm about right here. So this is just the base level template that it comes with. One thing that I also learned from watching different Shopify tutorials on our page is that you want to break up your information. So if you have image, then you have product, then you have other image. You just don't want to go image, 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 image. You want to create some visual dynamics on your page. This is the theory that I'm guessing works here. So let's start from the top and go to the bottom. All right, so let's start with our header. So if we go to our header, this is the announcement bar up top. Now, if I have deals, I think this is the place where I'm going to want to put the deals, but here I'll just put a funny message because remember, I'm doing a gimmick store or a funny store with funny products. So I'm going to say, what? Why aren't you doing that? How come you're not adjusting for me? Okay. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and it's frustrating. Okay. Wait. All right. I figured it out. Okay. So I want an announcement bar. I click add announcement, and there it shows up. I just had to delete the old one first. So maybe the fun announcement I could say is, emotions are complicated. have a balloon. Okay, I love that. All right, cool. We have we have an announcement. I'm gonna change up the colors a little bit here. Now, remember, if I go back to my Adobe, I see that if the color themes that I have are this yellow, this blue, this red, maybe I'm going to stick with my colors first, and I'm going to find this yellow. And actually, if you want to know exactly what yellow that is, because here's what's cool. You can pick exactly what color you want using a hex code. Now, a hex code, as you can see, is like a different code for a different color on the spectrum. Okay. But what's interesting is that, okay, so I want to change my scheme. That's what it is. We have to change the scheme. This is what changes the color of that announcement bar. So I'm going to edit my scheme. Okay, cool. So there I have spaces for the hex code. So I'm going to go back to my Adobe and I'm going to find the hex code for this backup color. And here's a trick. Go to Adobe, click custom. All right. Take this, figure out the dropper. And if you use this dropper to identify a color, it will give you the exact hex code. So custom, use the dropper, find the color, get the hex code. Go back to my store. All right. So I'm going to put in my hex code there. All right, now this changes the design for the whole site. I don't know why it did that, but you know what? Let's go with it and we'll see if we can just do it there. Now let's do this blue color up top, which again, you can select, go to the color, go to custom, and you see it's already identified the color, so I'll take that hex code. And I'm gonna put it into my store. Okay, cool. So we've messed around with our announcement bar. Let's not get stuck there. I have a really bad habit of going down rabbit holes with one section, but let's try to create it and we'll come back to it later to see if we can change the rest of the page scheme. So let's move to our header now. And as you can see, this gives us a bunch of different options for color schemes. But in the meantime, what I really want to do is add my logo here. Before I upload an image, I'm going to go to my logo. Okay. I'm going to download that. All right, I've downloaded my balloon logo. Now I'm going to attach it. Done. Okay, cool. All right, logo is in place. We are making progress. Fine. Let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger, because I want people to actually read it. So I'm going to adjust the size of that. It's taking up a lot of space, but actually I don't mind it being that big. All right, my logo is in place, but you know what? I'm not very happy with these menu text up top. The text style is left over from the theme, but I kind of want to put it in my style. So let's look back at my text here. I'm going to figure out the name and see if I can match it. That one's going to be a little weird, but you know what? FlySvim and Victor script. So I know the names of my text. Let's see if Shopify has them. So let's see if it has this one. FlySwim. Nope, doesn't have that one. So it doesn't have the exact text I'm looking for, which is kind of disappointing, but maybe I can find something similar, kind of like this. Yeah, I guess this is kind of similar, but close enough. Let me just take a look here to see if they have anything more funky. What I don't like about this is the way that this font library is opened, is set up. But actually, you know what? This kind of resembles the text that I had in my balloon. Yeah, okay, so you know what? I'm happy with this one for now. I want to change that text here as well. So in my menu, I can see that that's where it was. Wait a minute. You know what I'm noticing here is that if you don't save everything that you do each time you make a change, it's not going to work out. Kind of a rookie mistake, but you know what? We're rolling with the punches. Here we go. I think it was called Lobster. That's what the text I was looking at was called. Aha, there it is. Perfect. So There we go. Emotions are complicated. Have a balloon. All right. Select. Okay. I'm going to save. Perfect. Hopefully the page doesn't switch up on us again. So let's go back to our header. And as you can see, this opens up again. And I want to change the text here as well. So I'm going to go to my theme settings here, put in lobster again, and let's see if that those menu text change, and they did. Perfect. Awesome. Select. Great. I do want them to be a little bit bigger though. Okay, you know what I'm struggling with? I've been trying to change the text size on this main header for a while, and I can't seem to do it. So I'm assuming that that'll come in the navigation part later. Once again, we don't really want to mess around and get stuck in a rabbit hole. At least I don't, because I want to just finish designing my thing and I can come back a little bit later. But what I did see on this header are these two padding sections, and I don't know what they are. So let's check that out. What if I remove the padding? It just brings this next product part closer to my top part. Okay, cool. Seems easy enough to understand. These are just theme settings. Desktop logo width. Okay, cool. I can make this bigger. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Something in the middle. Okay, that works for me. Okay, cool. So I've added my logo. Now the rest of the background of this page is still that yellow color, which is fine for now, but I don't know if that's the color I'm going to stick with yet necessarily. So we'll work on that later. These navigation text could be a little bit bigger, but we're going to come back to that because as you can see, they are working buttons. So I think that the reason I can't find out where to change them is that because these are full buttons yet, and I think I need to change the buttons. So literally everything is changing except the thing that I want to change, which is a little bit frustrating. But actually, while I was looking at this menu option here, I saw that you can actually change your menu's position. So here's what middle left looks like. Middle center, okay, that's kind of cool. Top center, oh, I don't mind that actually. Top left. I kind of don't mind this like middle center look, you know? It kind of takes the emphasis off of how weirdly sized my menu items are. I'm kind of stuck between that and the top center. You know what? I'm going to go middle center a little. You know what? I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to make my page look a little bit different. Hopefully we can come back to it later and adjust it, but I'm kind of digging that look. I have a very cool logo and I kind of want to show that off, but there's a little extra space between my menu and the next section. So I saw this top padding section on this right-hand panel where we can kind of tighten that up a little. And I like that. Okay, cool. So now let's focus on the layout of our page. Now, because we chose this template, there's already a layout here, but this is where you kind of want to think about the experience you want your customers to have when they come to your site. So I like this, but I don't want to kind of see this whole big banner idea. I want them to see my products right away. So as we go down to this template section, I see that we have all these different banners in place and I can move them. And you know what? So let's map it out. Let's change this so that we're not going with a template. We're making something that's a little bit more custom to what I want. So instead of starting with this image and text banner up top, I want to start with my featured collection. Actually, I want people to see my products right away. But what I've heard about how to organize a Shopify store is you kind of want to break your page up into products, texter images, products, texter images. So I got my products. I got this text image combo, but I kind of already made an image that I think could go really well here. So I don't want text there essentially. So I'm going to delete that. Image with text, whatever. Let's get that out of there. And I'm going to add a section of just an image banner. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to move that underneath my featured collection. Cool. Break that up. But then we have two image banners. So let's go ahead and delete this second one. But I need to add something there in place. So right now I have my featured collection. I have my image banner, which is just going to be the image. So we need something product related. So let's go to add section. And what else can we put in? I like that if you scroll over the section, it kind of shows you what each of these elements that you add, what it might look like. And honestly, I kind of like this featured, like this collection list. Okay, cool. So we have our featured products, our image banner, our collection list, and then let's add in one more section just because I kind of want a little bit more. Why don't we put in a text section? So we'll just put in a text section right here. I can add a little welcome and then our footer, which let's see if I can change that too, because I have two text sections. So I don't want this to kind of be another text section, even though that's what the footer is at this point. So what options does this give us? Let's add a block. We've got menu, we've got brand information, a brand information section. I'm honestly just putting in sections right now to see what I can do, which is something that I highly advise you to do. Like if you don't know what you want to add, just put sections in so you can kind of just see it and then decide from there. So, okay, cool. I can actually put images there. So I'm gonna actually remove this heading part, just keep an image. And then this bottom, footer part, I'm going to try to delete that, but I don't know how to get rid of it. Oh, show email sign up. Aha, there we go. Easy as clicking a check mark. You just get rid of it. Okay, so we've created the basic layout of our page. Now this is just what it's going to look like. We haven't added anything yet, which means it's time to connect our store to Printify. So I know how to do this part. Let's go back to our dashboard. Oh, wait. This is the thing that I forget all the time that everybody always tells me, but I always forget. Anytime you make any changes on your Shopify page, click save. We've all been in that situation where you're designing something, you think, oh, cool, it looks great, and then you X out of it and it's gone. Don't do that here, especially after all the work that we're putting in. All right, so let us go back to our dashboard and go to add apps. Now you can add the Printify app in two different ways. You can go to Printify and connect your store there. I'm just gonna stay on Shopify because I think that's easier and faster. So let's see if we can find the Printify app. That's weird. It's not giving me any options to search here, but we'll go and search it. Go to the App Store, search for Printify, trying to spell your company's name right. That's very important, okay? And now I'm gonna install this app on my store. So it'll take us directly to Printify. It's gonna ask us to give us access to our Shopify store. We're gonna do that. Install it, connect, log in, all that jazz, you know how it goes. At this point, our store is connected, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go to my old store, I'm gonna copy products, all right, and I'm gonna put it on my Shopify store. Easy as pie, okay? It's slowly doing that. My products have been copied. Let's go to my products section. So I'm going to quickly just go and change my store name so I know what I'm talking about here. Whenever I look at my Printify account, I'm just going to put Shopify store, save. Cool. All right. Now let's see if I can just publish these straight to my store. So I'm going to just send them all. Okay, so now that our products have all been published, let's go back to our Shopify store to make sure that they have, and we can go back to our dashboard, go to the products section, and you can see all our products are where they're supposed to be. But are they included in our homepage or our theme? Well, let's go back to our theme, and we can go to customize again. And as you can see, my products have already started to show up. But I'm starting to see some design issues here. For example, there's a white box around my mockups. Now, you can spend all your time on mockups, upload custom mockups, but they kind of stick out here in a way that I don't quite like. So what I'm gonna do actually is see if I can change this. And also this whole yellow color block is starting to grate at me a little. I want there to be like visual dynamics on my page, right? I want it to look different. So I have two problems I need to solve. I need to change this first top color here to something that's a little bit different. I like this section because these are my brand colors. And I want to change this section to something white so that my products don't stick out. So let's go back to our homepage and figure it out from there. Now, if you remember in the beginning, I was really struggling with this and I figured it out. You have to change these sections here, your color schemes. Now, if I want to start with yellow, I don't want to go with yellow next, so I want to start with a different color. So let's try flipping these colors around. Instead of blue text on yellow background, maybe we'll do yellow text on a blue background. Why not? Okay. So let's go back to our theme settings here and just go to colors. And these are what I've realized. These schemes are what you really want to be playing with to adjust colors quickly. And you can, as you go into different sections, you'll see, are we choosing scheme 1, scheme 2, scheme 3? And depending on the colors that you have set up, you can easily change your colors and your schemes with these little scheme setups. So for example, we're on scheme 1 right now, which is yellow and blue, but let's say I want to change this to, actually, you know what, I want to keep that now. Maybe I'll make it as a new scheme. I'll do it as scheme 4, let's say, because I want this to be a different type of color arrangement that I can use again. So let's just pick our colors. The reason I hesitated there was because I'm wondering if I still need to use the same hex codes. You know what? Just to be safe, I will, because I want these to be my colors, and I'm very particular that they are my colors because I have brand colors. Okay, so let's put that here. Oh, cool. So you see, it was a different shade of blue. You got to check with your hex codes. That's really important. And I want to change the text to that color. So I put this on editing scheme 4. Let's see if it works. Let's go back to our announcement bar. You see that it's set for scheme 1 over here, and I want to change this to scheme 4. Hey, all right, we're starting to get a bit more dynamic looking page already, so that's good. All right, so my next thing that I wanted to do was change this featured product section to a different scheme because, like I said, I don't like these white boxes. They look a little strange. So maybe if I use a white background, it probably won't look as strange. So let's see if we can change that scheme too. So we're going to go back, go to our schemes, and I'm going to do this as scheme 5. I'm going to choose a white scheme, and you know what? Let's keep the colors where they are as blue, okay? So I want to choose my blue. All right, go back to this featured collection. Where's the scheme I picked? Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Always remember to remember your schemes. Which one was it? Ah, there it is. Okay, scheme 5. Okay, so as you can see, it looks a lot better. The white isn't popping up as much. It's still a little off though. This white is a little dark, you know? So let's just adjust that real quick. Go into this background. Maybe I'll choose, is there an opportunity? Ah, so you see, if you use this slider, you can actually play with it. So there we go. All right, so I like the way that my balloons are showing up here. They're a lot better than just, you know, the white box. Again, edit your mockups, you know, customize your mockups to the page that you're designing, but I'm trying to save time here and go, you know what, let's work with the page I have instead of changing each individual mockup. Call me lazy. We're trying to do this quickly, all right? Okay, I want to change the text here a little bit too, because I noticed that my balloons, the titles of my balloons are a little wacky. Like this style of text works up here, but it doesn't work down here. So I kind of want to change that. And I will just go to typography. And as you can see under typography, it has different sections for headings, your body. So let's keep it different. I just want it to be easier to read. Why isn't it changing? Is it changing? I can't tell. Nope, it's not changing. Something's up. What's going on? So I think a lot of times you got to actually make sure that you've selected your layer or the part of your home page, I guess. And let's see if we can change this. Okay. That's so strange. Why isn't it changing? Another mystery to figure out. All right. Let's go. Maybe it's the headings option. Okay. So these were all headings that I was trying to change. That's where I messed up. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think this is a lot better. This font is closer to what I had before, but still kind of goofy, but still a little bit more sophisticated, easier to read. I'm just quickly looking over some of the other ones that I have. I kind of like these, I kind of like that. I like the playful text vibe, but my problem is I'm always used to checking out other options as well. I'm always like, what is this? And I can go through options all day long and then still come up with no result. So ultimately, I think this is a battle between deciding how much time you want to spend on something. Because if you're like me, you could do this all day long. Okay, cool. So I like this looking text. I think this is the best option that I have. Weirdly enough, as you can see, my product pages are already loaded. We're going to come back to that in a sec. But weirdly enough, I noticed that it didn't change the headings. It didn't change the text on my products. I wonder if there's a way to do that. Oh, wait. Aha. Classic rookie mistake. You see, I didn't save my text and it went back to that one I had earlier. Oh my gosh, guys. Step by step, baby. We're figuring it out. All right, let's see if I can find that one again. I don't quite remember which one it was. Weird. Okay, let's go and just make sure that we're selecting our thing again. Go to typography. Cool. There it is. Regular. Righteous. Okay, cool. It changed. Now, I changed the text. This text is a lot better, but I noticed that my pricing is also in a different text. I don't know why it's doing it like that, but perhaps it's because I didn't save. Ooh, righteous. Okay, cool. Select. Awesome. Maybe also I have to change the body. That's probably why the prices didn't change as well. Yeah, okay. So now you're starting to see that everything changed depending on which section you choose. So let's do that. And again, always save your work so you don't have to go back and keep repeating the same 3 steps. All right. So things are coming along. We've kind of worked our first half of the page. Now we got to work our second half of the page, which we'll just take step by step. Let's see if I can do something with this image banner here. So I have an image banner. I've created one for it, but let's get rid of all these other elements under the image banner because I don't need them. Okay, so we have the option to put 2 images here, but we're going to play with just one and see how that looks. Now, if you're wondering, how do I know what size this image needs to be? Well, you can look it up. I actually Googled earlier what size Shopify banners need to be, and I'll show you the one that I made real quick, but I found that it was 1920 by 1080 pixels. All right, so that's exactly how I created it. You can Google it. You can go Shopify image banner dimensions. It'll show up. So let's download that. And we'll add this banner to our Shopify store. Background image, cool. It's updating. All right, cool. Now this is a little big, actually, and I'm wondering if there's a way that we can resize it. Image behavior, no, stack images, theme settings. Because I notice if you see here, this image is actually a little big, and I kind of don't want it to be that big. So it just goes to show that Ah, there we go. Okay, so what I did was I changed the banner height from small, medium to large. So as you can see, depending on your banner, it changes the size of your banner. But it just goes to show you, you just kind of have to play with the settings to see what works for you. So I'm going to go with small, and lo and behold, my banner works perfectly. All right, so now we are going to start creating collections for my products. Now, the thing is, you can't really have collections for balloons because it's not like there's men's balloons and women's balloons, but that doesn't mean that we can't have fun with this feature. What if we ask ChatGPT to come up with collections that we can organize my 12 balloons into? So let's ask it that. Let's go to ChatGPT and put in organize these phrases into 3 categories, come up with fun names for the categories, okay? And give me different name options for the different categories. Come on, ChatGPT. I hope you understand me because nobody else does. All right, so ChatGPT has given me a couple options here of different category names, and I think I've found some keepers. So for the first category, there's meh moments, could be better, whatever, shrug vibes. I like that as a category. We'll keep that one. The next one, we've got awkward while, wait, what? The weird zone, oops moments. Okay, I'm gonna go with awkward aisle in this category. And the third category is it's all good, almost there. Close enough. Small wins. Love it. Okay, cool. So using ChatGPT as our guide, because of course, what could go wrong? Let's try adjusting our collections. So let's see. The first thing that we need to do, I remember this from the tutorial, is go back to the dashboard, go to content. Wait, no, my bad. Go to products and then go to collections. Okay. So we need to actually create these collections first. So let's just go ahead and create that. What was the first one? Oh yeah, shrug vibes. And I'll just actually pull this and use that as a description. Why not, you know? For when you're feeling ambivalent is a complicated word. Meh, not with it, or a lack of enthusiasm, just fine. Or just fine. There you go. All right. Manual, let's add some products into our just what was it? Into our shrug vibes collection. There we go. All right. Now actually ChatGPT did this for us. So it could be meh, could be better, could be worse, over it, nice try. All right, so let's do this. Here we go. Meh, could be better, could be worse. And nice try. That's what it was, right? Yeah. Oh, and over it, actually. Where are you? Oh, maybe I didn't make over it. Oops, that one was for for another collection. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's save that. Brilliant. Okay, now go back. And let's just keep doing this. All right, so the next one was, what was it? Awkward aisle. All right, here we go. So at this point, you know, you're creating your own collections. I'm creating mine. It also depends on, you know, what kind of products you're selling, what your niche is. I want people to kind of have fun with my store. I mean, I'm selling balloons at the end of the day. Like, how complicated could this be? How complicated of a shopping experience could this be? All right, all right. So now I have all 3 categories or collections created. I keep calling them categories because I'm literally categorizing these collections. So let's see if we can go back and make them out. I realize as I'm doing this that like one of the critiques that I could already hear my colleagues and my friends telling me is that okay, you've created collections and you're having fun with them, but if I'm a shopper and I really want to figure out what kind of balloons, you know, I want to buy, these product descriptions don't really tell me much. And, you know, to those people I say, It's my castle and I'll do what I want with it, okay? No, but seriously though, there is like a certain logic to like if you're doing this with your own store and you have your own products, there is a certain logic to not really messing around with this too much because you do want to make it as easy as possible for people to get to where you want them to go. Try to like approach your store as you were shopping on it and you really needed to find something specific. You needed to make it as easy on yourself as possible in order for that to work out. Here's the first thing that I see. I've got this white situation going on, which remember I did because I didn't want the outlines of my mockups to show up. In a perfect world, I would just create different mockups so it would work with my color scheme. You know what? We do the best we can. So the first thing I want to do before I create my collections here, because it's really bothering me, is to just change this scheme. Now, I did create a scheme for it. I do remember that. Is that it? Hey, there we go. All right. And now we're going to add our collection. So here, click on my collection, select collection. We're going to start with Shrug Vibes. I love that. Cool. Okay. Next collection. I'm going to click it, go to the side menu, select collection. We're going to call it Awkward Aisle. And then second collection here, we're going to call it Small Wins. Okay. Now, obviously, I'm seeing that these balloons are very similar to these top balloons. I totally get that. We're going to work on that a little later, all right? Now, I want to talk about my brand. Let's come up with a fun tagline here. So this is a text block that I put in, which honestly, I kind of forgot about, but let's come back to it. I'm going to put something fun like balloons. Oh, wait. Where is it? Right here. It's for almost all occasions. I love that. Okay. Hopefully it'll fit. Did I spell occasions right? Let me double check that. I don't know about you, but I sometimes feel like I know the words, the spellings to words. I know the words, you guys. But I always check to make sure I have a spelling error. And there is a spelling error, just not in the word I'm looking for. All right, cool. Wait, did I spell the occasions correctly though? Yeah, I did. All right. Okay, balloons for almost all occasions. And then I'm going to come up with a description here. Come up with a fun description for a store where someone could buy these balloons. Make it funny and sarcastic. The name of my store is, what is it? Flying Saucer. Flying Saucer Balloons. Here we go. Let's see what it comes up with. Hopefully it'll give me something to work with. I should have asked it to keep it short, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But you know what? Hopefully it gets the point. Yeah. So I like this first section here, where your balloon dreams sort of come true, if that's your thing. At Flying Saucers, we specialize in all the moods you didn't know you wanted floating over your head. All right, cool. I like that. I'm fine with that. You know what? Let's keep it simple. Like I said, at this point, if you're doing it, you want to make this unique to yourself, your store. Obviously, I really care about my balloon store, but you know what? It's a process. And our goal for this is to just create our store and get that done. All right, cool. So there's a button label. I'm not sure I really want a button right now, or maybe, you know what? Maybe I will do it. I'll leave it there, but I'll come back. Actually, you know what? I can't decide. I'm going to get rid of it for now. Let's trash that. Okay, cool. Now it's time for my bottom image, which I remember I created images for this page. And I created two images. I created this banner image, and then I created one extra one in case I needed it. So let's see if it works. I'm going to go back to my Adobe and I'll show you what I made. Like I said, guys, I'm a budding designer. You know, there's a lot of stuff I have to get right here, but hopefully you cut me some slack. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I made this handy design. All right. I actually generated these balloons using AI. I put my banner in there, but you can see just fun. I played with the space theme a little bit more. And let's see if it works with my page. Yeah. Okay. So while that's downloading, we'll head back here. By the way, that's me in the Printify commercial, if you haven't already noticed. And there it is. Incredibly, incredibly small, for sure. Let's see if I can make it a tad bit bigger. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm kind of noticing that I didn't do this to size, and let me just double check. Wait, no, I did do it to size. 1920. What's right? Why is this happening to me? So somehow I designed this in the wrong size. I, just why? Why? Okay, I'm gonna go make a coffee and we'll be right back after these brief messages. All right, so I've been looking at this a little bit and I think I understand what's going on here. I've put my image into the footer section, which is not where it's supposed to go. If I want that image to be its full size, it has to be its own image banner, similar to what we did up here. So what I'm gonna do is delete that image because that's not where you're supposed to go, little guy. And I'm going to add a image banner, right? Delete all this extra gobbledygook. Oh, wait, deleted my whole banner. Don't do that. Delete the buttons. That's what I want to do. Okay. And then select my image. Hopefully this time it should fit properly. Okay, we kind of did the same thing where we did last time where we have to adjust the image size. And there it is, folks. It's starting to take shape. Now, what we still have to resolve here is this footer. But, and at this point, ideally, you could put down your email, you could put down, your social media links. But, just for now, because I haven't created those social media links yet, which I will ideally in the future, I'm just going to add in something else. So let's say, let's add a heading that says, actually, I can go back to my ChatGPT and see if I can use something else there. I like this. Flying saucer balloons, where reality meets helium, except my balloons are going to be not helium kinds. They're going to be the ones on the balloon sticks. But you know what? I'm going to make more balloons and also have helium ones as well. So maybe what I can change this to instead is flying saucer balloons, where reality meets air. Shop now and celebrate okay times, I guess. Oh my God. You guys ever have that thing with capitalizations and you just wonder, like, should I capitalize everything or should I just capitalize the first thing? There we go. Let's just capitalize everything. You know what? I'm always of the belief that it's always better to do more than less. I don't know how much of a good philosophy that is when it comes to selling online. I don't think it's a very good one, but hey, you know what? So my store has started to take shape and you see that, okay, we've got a layout down. We've put in our own personalizations in. We've customized it to our liking. And now we're about to move on to the product page. But to be honest with you, and I know you're thinking the same thing, this could be better, all right? So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time working on this. And if you're creating your store right now too, spend some time, play around with it, pause the video and come back when you're ready to work on the next part. I'll see you soon. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I am very frustrated right now. It's kind of getting a little irritating, but you know what? That's what we're doing this for. We're figuring it out step by step. And if you're still with me, here's what I did wrong, all right? So while I was doing some stuff on Printify, I updated my prices and I didn't know that that would wipe my collections on Shopify. So I went back, I re-added my collections, and this is how my store page looks finally. So I redid the front page and I tried to use colors that show up again on the homepage so things look a little bit more uniform. Blue and white up top, this yellow color, these white blocks, right? Which look great now that I have the balloons organized. The colors pop a lot. So already you're getting a very bright vibe from the store, which is exactly what I wanted in the beginning. I've created my collections, all right? These are looking good as well. And same thing for my footer. Now, for the bottom of my page, I should say, and then the footer. Now, as I said earlier, we're going to change that footer up, or at least add more sections when we add our FAQ, our policies, our shipping information, all that jazz. But for now, let us finally move on to the next part of our site building process, the product page. Now, like I said earlier, if you click this navigation menu at the top, it'll take you to all the different pages that you have so far. But I want to go to my product page, and there's a default template that's assigned, which means that all the products on my product page look exactly the same at the moment. Now, if you are working on your Shopify store, a good tip is to go in, make all of your product pages look a little different, add some more visual dynamics to your site. But for the sake of time, let's just create a nice looking template for all of our product pages to follow. Okay, so here we go. We're going to create a template here, and I'm just going to call it balloon page, because why not? All right, balloon page. Great template. Groovy. So now this template is pretty much what shows up, or this is how my product pages pretty much look. And it's pretty standard. It's got almost all the information that we uploaded from Printify. It's got a you may like section at the bottom, which is nice. Once again, I'm going to change this because that white box is so grating to me. It's weird what some people are OCD about, huh? I think about that all the time. Sometimes you have that little itch that you're like, nah, I just want to move it a little bit. I swear to you, most of the problems in my life come from this exact itch. All right, cool. So I like it. It's got that same kind of visual dynamics we had earlier. Now, if you don't update or check out these product pages, what'll show at the top of your product page is where it came from, which in this case is Printify. Now, if you want to include it, that's great. If you don't, which I don't, I'm going to remove that. So we're going to say I can just remove it entirely. You know what? Why complicate things? Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. I remember Chris Heckman in a talk at Amplified saying that this section is actually really important on your product page. So let's see if we can change it here. Let's change that. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I like how clean it is. I don't really want to mess with it here because it's literally just a balloon. If you had deals or promotional offers going on here, this would be a really great place to put that in. But honestly, for now, people know what they're getting. It's a balloon. I think that's fine. And honestly, this information isn't quite right, I don't think. I'm realizing that I'm just going to get rid of this variant picker because there's no point. I don't have any variants for my balloons. Each of my balloons is exactly what they are. So I'm going to remove that. Now, in this case, if you were doing apparel and you wanted to have t-shirts with different sizes, this is where you can play around with that menu. But honestly, here, there's nothing for my customers to pick, so let's remove it. Make it easier. Okay, cool. So I like how this is looking. Everything is kind of nice. The Printify mockups have come through. I can go later because I can see that these are duplicate mockups. I'm going to remove them. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to change this description. Rewrite this description in a funny, sarcastic, ambivalent style. It's funny, actually, when I was creating the product earlier, one of the category recommendations was ambivalence, and I was like, nah, that's too much of a complicated word. And here I am doing the exact same thing. I love this description. Oh, Mylar balloons are super easy to customize and fit almost any occasions. Birthdays? Sure. Baby showers? Why not? Weddings? If you must. These beauties are here for every mildly celebratory event imaginable, all year round. Perfect. This is exactly the vibe I want my balloon store to give off, and I'm just going to change that here. Let's take that. We're going to fix this description, go to the text. Okay. Oh, weird. Why can't I edit my description? This is kind of... Okay, so apparently I have to go back and change the product descriptions for every single product, which kind of sucks. So here we go again. All right. And we're back. I don't know what's heating up more at this point, me or my computer, but I think it might be me. So basically, what I did was remember when I was setting up the product information on Printify and I said, oh, we'll just leave this description, it'll update itself later. Don't do that. Fix your description, because otherwise, when they update, they'll update with that original description, and then you'll have to go back and change each individual product description again and again and again. So that was crazy. But the good thing is I only have balloons, but be warned about this, because if you sell different types of products and you got to go in, and especially if you're writing individually different product descriptions, I'm getting flustered just thinking about it right now, to be honest with you. But okay, let's get back to our product page. Here it is. All right. So we have our product title. I updated to the description. I even changed the pricing a little bit. And I even played around with this recommended products section at the bottom. Actually, now that I look at it, I'm like, you know what? You may also like, for all the sarcasm that I have going on my page, I think you may also like is a bit vanilla. So let's change that. How about something like, don't know how you feel? Us neither. Maybe these balloons can help. Us neither. Okay, cool. So I updated this part with, don't know how you feel, us neither. Maybe these balloons can help. Look, I'm trying to have as much fun with my site as possible. So I'm kind of being a little bit fun with it. But at the same time, what I'm actually doing here is I'm creating a brand identity. When I want people to come to my store, I want them to feel like they're having fun. I want them to feel like there's a little bit of sarcasm involved, because I am, at the end of the day, selling sad balloons. So that's just the general vibe of the store, right? So this is where you get to create your brand identity, and it goes down to your colors. It goes down to your product description. So take the time, get it right, and try to make it as dynamic as possible. Like I said, for the sake of time, if I had days, I could go through each individual product page, change the pictures, change the description, change the layout, give each balloon a different layout, a color, whatever. But in this case, just for the sake of time, I like the way that this product page is set up. It's no frills. It's kind of minimalistic. You see the balloon, you like the balloon, you buy the balloon. If you want to read the description and find out more about the balloon, there it is. But of course, if you were selling apparel, you would want them to kind of get all the information they have, so that they don't do any returns or exchanges, or don't get a product that they don't want, essentially. But I'm with balloons here. Remember, that's the best part about creating a minimum viability store. I've created my store. I can add different products and adjust this as I go, but these are as much products as I need to get a store up and running. And sometimes that's the biggest battle. Okay, so all right, I'm lost. I'm trying to figure out how I can assign this page to my products, and for some reason, that's not easy to do. Okay, to assign this template, go to products. Okay, cool. All right, so I went to this products. Maybe I have to do it individually for each product. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I had to take a little bit of a break. My brain overheated here, and I basically just had to Google it. Now, I've kind of done that thing where I thought I could just figure it out because I'm smart, but sometimes you just need to ask for help. And I asked Google, and apparently, here's what I was doing wrong. So, what I did was, when I first started designing, I forgot to use taste as my theme. I didn't publish it, therefore Dawn was still my default theme. And apparently, in order to change your product templates, you have to use the theme that you're editing on as your main theme. It had to be published. So you see how now I have Dawn and it says publish here? Well, that's what I had to do with taste earlier. And now, as a result, what I can do is go to my products, okay, find the one that I was editing, and now, finally, under theme template, my balloons page shows up. The other thing that I did was there was this other mockup, this extra mockup with this white background that was there. I also went through and deleted those as well. So now let's go back to our product page. We got to save this stuff first. Okay. Let's go back into our theme. And now if we go to our catalog, all of our products have that description that we wrote earlier. It just took a little bit of a fix, but that product template that we were creating eventually did work out. So phew, only took us a little bit of a meltdown and a lot of coffee breaks to get there. So now I'm happy with all my product pages. I've assigned all my products to this template that I've created so I can feel safe knowing that all my product pages are going to look the same. I'm going to check them a little bit later, of course. But before we move on to the back end where we do our payments and policies and shipping and all that, I feel like there's one more thing we should do, and that is give our site a little bit more meat. Give it some more menu items. Remember, now that you're selling on Shopify, in order for it to rank on search engines like Google, which is where you hopefully want, your balloon store or whatever store to show up first if somebody searches for it, basically what you're trying to do for these search engines is give them a little bit more information so they can put your site higher the next time anybody's looking for balloons or apparel or whatever you're selling. But in order to do that, we need to have kind of more meat in our store. So let's give our store a little bit more content for Google to rate. So let's try to make a bio page, and let's try to make an FAQ page, all right? And our FAQ page we can put later from our policies that we create. I'll show you how to do that, but let's try to figure out some pages. Okay, so let's create a template for a page. Okay, and this is going to be our store bio. Great template. Cool. All right, so it's automatically put in this contact template, which is not really what I'm after, but we're going to call this who we are. So let's see if we can change that here. Let's try to be a little bit more creative with this page, okay? Because what I'm wondering is who we are sounds kind of lame. I know it's a bio, but you know what would be fun instead of a bio or who we are? Let's just call this, what is this? So in order to come up with a brand bio or backstory, just for fun, because again, I'm just trying to have fun on this site, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to come up with a short backstory about a balloon company called Flying Saucer Balloons, where a man suddenly realizes what emotions are and decides to put them on balloons. Okay, so it gave me a description, but just by the look of it, I can tell that it's a little long. So I'm going to ask it to shorten it a little bit, just 6 sentences, right? I think people can handle 6 sentences. Shorten this down to 6 sentences. All right, so I like this. This is a little bit shorter. We can have a little bit more fun with this. Gary Wilkins, who will be me eventually, lived a life blissfully void of emotions until one Tuesday, a tidal wave of feelings hit him out of nowhere. Suddenly, he felt sadness, excitement, and mild embarrassment, emotions he barely recognized. Struck by this newfound understanding, he decided the world needed a way to express these complex vibes. So he started flying saucer balloons where every balloon captures a mood. Meh, over it. And this is fine. Perfect for when words fall short, but a balloon nails it. Exactly. Gary might still be learning about his feelings, but he's making it easier for the rest of us to face ours. Perfect. I love that. So if anybody really cares about my bio section, that is what I want them to know. Okay. Now I'm going to change the name from Gary Wilkins, oh my goodness, to me. And let's see. Okay, cool. I love that. So I love that that's what this is called. I'm going to call this page, what is this? And I'm going to put it as a section up there. I'm going to remove this button. Okay, cool. I like this. I think this is a pretty solid. You know what? I think this is a pretty solid thing, but it's a very small page, and I think it needs a little something. I'm going to add an image here. Okay. Cool. I think I need an image here, but I really don't have time to create one. So I'm going to go to Adobe Express real quick and create a background image for this. So let's go to Adobe, and we're going to go to Media. And if you go to Media on Adobe Express, you see that it already has the one that I created earlier. Let's X out of that and actually start a new file. Let's just go here. Start from a new file. All right, we're going to put in our dimensions, 1920, 1080p, create new file. Okay, that's the banner size that I made earlier. Now for new media, because I'm trying to make something quickly, I'm going to generate an image, widescreen, let's say, and I'm going to describe. Let's just put in this prompt: a man holding a bunch of balloons, suddenly learning how to feel. I wonder what it's going to do with that actually, because that is a very vague prompt, but let's try. I always kind of wonder also when I do these about internet face or computer face. You ever have that where you're looking at a computer and you're so zoned in and then suddenly your face goes, I honestly feel like you guys have been watching me make these internet faces, and I'm so sorry. But if you've been, tagging along this whole time, hey, we're doing our best here, okay? So it's made me a pretty cool image. I like that, subtly learning how to feel. And just for the sake of time, oh no, get out of here. And just for the sake of time, we'll just keep it the way it is. All right, so download. I'm kind of happy with that. Actually, you know what? Adobe Express AI, I'm kind of impressed. That's a pretty solid picture. There were some other ones, but I like this one a little bit more. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I kind of like this one the best. Not gonna lie, Adobe Express, you're really turning it up here. Okay, download this. Cool, cool, cool. And now I'm gonna add it to my store. So I'm gonna get rid of all this image banner. Oh, whoop, no, not the image banner. Get rid of all the stuff inside the image banner. Okay, select my image. Downloads, okay. All right, let it upload there. Done. Cool. All right, now let's try to make this small like it was before. Awesome. All right. So look, this already looks like a more dynamic page to me. And you got, you know, it's you can totally take your time with this, but I think I'm pretty happy where I'm at right now. And I think I'm gonna move on. So I've created this page. I'm gonna go to my navigation and see if I can assign it. Let's save this real quick. Okay. So go to my navigation. Main menu. Okay, add menu item. I'm gonna need the link for that. All right, hold on, folks. I'm jumping ahead here. Okay, hold on. I need to get my link for that page that I created. I literally hope how this works. Otherwise, this is just, hold on. Page, bio, okay. How do I get the link for this? Maybe I'll just take that link there. So maybe that link will work. I'll go back. Let me try it. Back to my navigation menu. Let's try this again. This time I have the page link. Hopefully that works. Add menu item. And let's call this, what is this? Paste the link. Add. Okay. Save menu. All right. Now let's go back to my page and see if that worked. Please work, man. I swear to God. I'm at a point where I've been doing this so long that I'm like, oh, I just want this to work out here. Okay. Wait, did it show up? No, it didn't show up. Why? Wait a minute. Something is not right. Oh, I did something wrong. Okay, so hold on. Let's go back. Maybe I should create a page first. Add page. Okay, cool. All right, what is this? There we go. You got to add the page first before you do it. All right, there's my bio. Okay, theme template. Save. All right. Now we go back. Okay, cool. I love that. All right. All right. It's working. It's showing up. We're doing this. We're making it happen. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go to my navigation and let's see if that worked. Okay, so I see that even in my navigation, it's there now. What if nope, okay, that works. That's fine. So I'm going to go back to my online store. Okay, I think I figured out my problem here. Basically, what I'm trying to do is shrink the text and move it on either side. But even if I do shrink the text, I still need to come up with two other menu items to put on that side. So I think my problem is that my logo positioning is working against me here, all right? So what I'm gonna do actually is move it because I was putting it in the middle center, and now I'm gonna put it in the middle left. So if I do that, my menu starts to look a lot cleaner. Now, of course, if you did want to do what I had planned before, essentially what you would have to do is you'd have to go into your theme settings, okay, go to typography, and this is a very basic mistake to make. I clearly just made it where you think that all your problems can be solved on Shopify in that right side menu. I promise you, they cannot be, okay? You gotta go into your theme settings. That's really where you'll find the more fine-tuned controls of whatever is happening on your page. So, for example, because this counts as body text, I would just drop the size of the body text. So if I did that, if I shrink it enough, it would eventually pop up, right? And then I would have to create more menu items or try to find a way to do that without putting it below. But you see how I've shrunk that? That's not really what I want to do. I kind of don't like that look. So basically, I'm sacrificing the rest of my menu just to, satisfy where I want my logo positioning to be. And honestly, at this point, there's a famous phrase where you got to kill your darlings, all right? You got to get rid of the things that you really like if they're not serving your overall goal. Or I'm going to move my logo to the middle center, and then I'm going to change the size back. But you see what happened? If I change the size, it also changed it everywhere else. And actually, I don't mind this being that size, but maybe a little bit bigger. So maybe I'll go a little bit higher, like this much for the body, and maybe a lot less for the title or for this heading, okay? And that looks a lot cleaner, I kind of like how that looks. It looks a lot smaller. Before, it was just taking a lot of space up on my homepage. Now, very quickly, this has presented a problem for us because my image here is no longer good, because you see it's kind of like, yeah, I don't like how this is all on one side. Actually, what I'm going to do very quickly is switch that around. So I'm going to get rid of this, or I'm going to come back to it in a sec. Go to my Adobe Express, okay? Find that. And because I don't want to mess up my original image, I'll go to my page section and I will just create another version of this design. But what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to flip it around. So I'm going to put this here. And actually, you know what I should have done? So I should group this text, do that first. There you go. Work smart, not hard, as I always say. Okay. And then I'm going to move this logo around that way. All right, cool. All right, so I think that works. So I will now download my image. Okay. Go back to my store and change this. Add a new version. And now we flip this around. Yeah, so you see, it looks a little bit more dynamic. Okay, cool. I like that. This is cool. It's starting to look a little bit more flowy. I feel like I'm doing something wrong here, but I haven't quite figured out what it is. But if I haven't figured it out by the end of this video, please let me know in the comments. Now, the last thing that I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but every time I go up, I scroll up, this menu kind of appears, and it appears sticky to me. Now, some people like that depending on your store design. I don't, and there's actually a section for that right here where it says sticky header, and it says on scroll up, which means that every time I scroll up, that menu is going to stick there. I mean, I guess it's cool. I really don't want that, so I'm going to turn that off. Okay, so when you go down my store, right, you get to see it. There's no header following you along. I think that flows a lot better too. Okay, let's go to my catalog. Catalog page also looks fine. Yeah, I wonder if maybe here I could also, I wonder what happens if I change it to this scheme. What if I change this too? top heading, go all the way. Nope. I changed this background to white to see if it looks good, and it does kind of look better, but it just kind of feels off. And I'm trying to sacrifice, like uniform design to make my page look a little bit better, but I don't think it's actually working. Um, so let's maybe flip this back. You know what? Maybe let's just keep it like that. Yeah, I think that's I think that works, right? Cool. But right now, I'm happy with this. So what I'm gonna do next is start to go into the back end, all right? Work on the shipping, work on the payments, the policies, the domain, and basically just get what the store needs to actually run, right? The shipping directions, the payment directions. So it looks great. Now it's time to make sure my store works great. So let's do that. All right, now you might be wondering why this whole time that I've been working on this page and this website, I've left my footer blank. And because I've been saying this whole time that I'm gonna fill it up with our policies. Well, why didn't I do that earlier? Now, call me a little OCD, but all that stuff actually happens on the dashboard and the back end where the settings are. And I kind of wanted to spend a little bit of time playing with the colors, getting everything in ship shape. Now, you can do this in any order that you want. If you want to set up your store pages and your policies first and then do your web design, look, it's a choose your own adventure process we got going on over here. And now that I feel kind of content so far with how it's looking, let's head to the back. All right. So now we are going to create our policies. So to do that, we got to go to our settings section. This is what I learned from Sarah's video that she did with my pal Leah, and we go to policies. Now, one thing that I was really excited to learn about Shopify is that it kind of generates these templates for these policies for you, but you got to read through them. And there are some things it doesn't generate, so we got to pay special attention to that. So let's go to the refund and return policy. It'll insert a template here. Now, I will go in and make sure that everything is the way that I want it to be because this is just a template, all right? It is not based in any kind of store process that I have going on or any kind of legality, but I will just double check here very quickly to take a look. Okay, delete the parts that need to be taken out. Okay, and you can just see me doing that. Okay, now here's the thing. I don't have a 30-day return policy, which means if you just have a defective item, we can do that, but there's no returns and exchanges that happen with balloons, so I'll get rid of that. So we can say damages and issues. Okay, you can always contact us for any damaged items. Okay. Okay, we don't do exchanges, so I'm going to get rid of that quickly. I'm not selling in the EU, at least not yet. Okay. Very simple return policy, all right? Same thing with the privacy policy. Now for the privacy policy, you can use their automated version, but there are some things that you do need to change. For example, how your store is described. So I'm going to put flying saucer balloons. Now, of course, take your time, go through this, read it so you know what's there, right? But really, this is all just standard run-of-the-mill stuff. But again, take your time, read it. Now, while you take your time to read those and fill out and change any relevant information, the one thing that Shopify does not actually give you is your shipping policy because that depends on your print provider, and that's actually the only section that you have to fill yourself. So there's two ways that you can do this. You can go to your catalog where you saw that item that you wanted, go to your print provider, click on provider info, and you can get all the shipping information here, or you can go to printify.com/shipping rates. Okay, and then find your print provider. So who was my print provider here? Was Photo Balloon Store. There it is, Photo Balloon Store, United States, see rates. Now, basically what I can do to save myself time is combine both this information. I'm gonna see if I can do that. So, because I need to include two things here first. I need to include my shipping time and my production time, and I need to put those together because shipping time does not include production time. So if I go to my shipping rates page and I see that it takes within the US 2 to 7 business days, all right, Canada 10 to 15 days, that's cool. But I also have to check what my production time is, and it actually says less than a day. So that's good. So if it's less than a day, let's just say I can use this information. I'll put it into ChatGPT. I'm going to go back to our friend ChatGPT and put in, use this information to come up with a brief shipping policy which includes shipping time plus 1 day added to this information, which is for our production, and remove references to cost. Okay, cool. Now let's see if ChatGPT can draw up a shipping policy. Okay, cool. So what it's given us is very short. I wanted a little bit more. Describe this in a paragraph. Okay, so what it did was give us a very short piece of information, but remember, I'm trying to create a policy here, no matter how big or small, but a little bit bigger than this, right? So I asked it to describe this shipping policy in a paragraph, and it did. So I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna read it real quick. All right, looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna go to my Shopify settings and put it there. Okay, cool. I got my policy set. Now let's move on to shipping. The reason that I'm doing shipping next is because it's incredibly easy to do. See, when Printify syncs with Shopify, not only does it move your products and your rates and your descriptions, it also automatically fills in your shipping rates. But Shopify, as I understand, still has default shipping settings in the background. So you got to go to the shipping section and remove them, which is where we are now. So I got to go to the general rate section, and it's got 2 separate zones that we have to remove because this is just its pre-filled information that it puts in. So we will remove both of this, basically all of that. Okay, great. All right, so I've moved all our zones. And now, oh, don't forget to save. And now we're gonna move on to payments. So I'm happy here, cool. All right, let's move on to payments. So basically what I hear is Shopify payments is the way to go if you want to accept any kind of credit cards or debit cards online from your customers, which of course we want to do. So let's start by working our way top to bottom by activating Shopify payments. All right, so let's submit some details about our business. Go through this process here. Okay, I'm an individual, which I am. Cool, I'm going to put in my information, and this is the part where we skip in the video.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I've gone through and added in all the information that I needed for Shopify payments. It asked me a little bit of information about myself, some billing information, and also some information about what I sell. So once I had that set up, I went in. I also set up my PayPal, which was the next option right below. Same thing. Basically, what we're trying to do is set up a way that we can receive payments and set up a way that we can get payments as well from people who are buying stuff from our website. So after you've set up your Shopify payments and your PayPal, the one thing that you have to remember is that you also have to set up your payments on Printify as well. Go to your wallet, make sure there's a credit card connected because you do have to front some cash for Printify before you can get paid for Shopify. So make sure you've got all your information arranged and in order on Printify as well, along with Shopify. It's finally time to do the thing that I've been wanting to do for a while, which is the beginning of the end for me, which is buy my domain or get my domain. This is my site address. So I am gonna go to my left side menu, go to the domain, okay? And I'm basically going to look and see if flyingsaucerballoons.com is available. Okay, cool. So it is available for $16 a year. And I'm going to go ahead and click that. I like it. All right, let's buy it. I don't know about you guys, but I am starting to get tired. As you can see, my background has completely gone dark. It's taken me a day to do this, but just to learn and figure it out. So if this is taking you time as well, don't worry. That's how it's supposed to be. These things take time for you to make sure that you get your settings exactly the way that you want to for your store to run great. So don't worry if it's taking you longer than usual. It has definitely taken me longer than usual, but let's stick with it. We're almost there. All right. There you have it. I finally submitted my domain. It's going to take a bit to verify, but that's okay. In the meantime, let's go back and check out our store. Now, of course, this is my favorite part. I love working on the front end, the way things look, the way things work. But the behind the scenes, the orders, the payments, the shippings, that kind of stuff stresses me out, which is why I kind of left it to the end, if you didn't notice. So let's go back and take a look. Everything kind of looks like it's in ship shape. But remember our footer section where I said I'm going to add those policies that I created later on? I think now's the time that we finally add them. So let's go back to our site navigation. And because we've already created those policies, they exist as pages already. As soon as you create those policies, they turn into their own pages. And here's how I'll show you. So I want them in the footer of my store. So I'm going to go to the footer menu. I'm going to add menu item. And I'm going to go to this search or paste a link. I'm going to go to policies. And there we go. I see all our policies there. So I'm going to go shipping. Okay, cool. Add. What else? What other policies we got that I can add to the bottom that'll be important? I know shipping is very important for people. Okay, refund and exchange. Cool, we'll add those. Other policies quickly. Terms of service. And we'll go ahead and add, what was it? Shipping, refund, privacy. Cool. All right, so we'll save that menu. And if we go back to our page now, it should be there. Fingers crossed. Okay. Okay, great. So there. This is fantastic. Things are working out, folks. Now, what I'm going to do is just check to make sure I'm okay with everything. Yeah, everything kind of looks like it's working out for me. I'm going to check my product pages real quick. So I'll just pick a random one because they all have the same product. All right, these are fine. Cool. Don't know how you feel, the recommended products. Wait a minute. Now, I've been looking at this section for a while, and I think I figured out what's bothering me about this, and here's what it is. Don't know how you feel, us neither. Apparently, us neither is not grammatically correct, so I'm going to get rid of that, and it's going to be neither do we instead. Cool. I love that. Save. Now, the next thing I want to show you very quickly before we move on is something on Printify. It's something that we all easily forget, but is very important when it comes to running your store, and that is your order approval settings. If you don't know where to find them, I'll show you. So go to your Printify account, go to store settings, and then go to order settings. Now this section, order routing, is really important because say, for example, you have products that can be made by print providers that are closer to your customer, you're gonna save them a bunch of money on shipping costs if you set that up. And this order routing section will automatically set it up so that you can route it to the closest print provider or the print provider that has the most similar product. This is also a great opportunity to take advantage of Printify Express and Printify Choice. If you don't know what those are, we're gonna link a video for you to take a look at those. And these are essentially features that we've made that have made shipping, picking a print provider for your customer, for their prices, for your shipping costs, for your profits, a lot easier. So take a look at those options below in the description, and I promise you won't be disappointed. Now, the way that it's set up for me is absolutely fine because there's only one print provider that makes the balloons that I sell, and they're in the US. So there's no way order routing will even help me because there's no other print provider that sells that balloons. Now, the next thing is order approval, which the way that it's set up is totally fine for me. I want it to be automatic. What are the cases that you'd want it to be manual? Well, let's say you're doing personalized designs and you have to change something about an order for a customer before you send it to production. This is where having it set to manual is a real benefit. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is talk about apps, all right? Now, apps are sort of a tricky situation because they are toys that you can use for your store, essentially. They are tools that you can use to make your store run better or make your store more appealing looking and working for your customer. So for example, I can add an app to use reviews. I can add an app to add sales timers. I can add an app that can help me with my promotions. Or I can add an app to basically look at my analytics. I can use an app to record how people are working through my store so that I can see where they abandoned their carts and figure out if that's a navigation issue, if that's something on the product page. So basically, there's an app for everything. And we actually made a handy video about that you can check out right here. But the trick to this is you have to understand that the more apps that you add to your store, the more it actually slows down your store. Now, this is important because if your store is even a little bit slow, people are gonna bounce off immediately. Think about the last time you were on a site or a profile or a channel that was loading a little slowly. I bet you just scrolled right past it, didn't you? Or you thought, you know what, this isn't worth the time. So be careful when you add those apps, because the more you add, the more they slow down your store. So pick and choose what you need and go from there. Don't add a bunch of apps at once hoping that it'll all magically just make your store 1,000 times better. It'll make it slower. And at the same time, you might find that you might not even need half the apps that you have. So let's try and find an app that we can use for our store and just use one for now. And as I said, the rule is if I want more, I'll add more later. So let's look for one. Okay, so just for example's sake, let's quickly go ahead and add an app that we think might be useful. All right, so let's bounce out of our theme editor here, go to apps. Okay, so one app that I'm going to try adding is actually a Trust Badges app. Now, Trust Badges are incredibly useful for an online store because what you're trying to do with your products and the whole look of your store, the whole point of this is to establish credibility so that someone will feel comfortable buying from you. So Trust Badges a lot of times can give your buyers that extra nudge to say, you know what, I'm going to add that cart and I'm going to see this purchase through. So let's try installing it to our store. Let's select some badges. Now, these are some of the ones that I saw earlier, so I'm fine with that when I was creating my Shopify payments. So I'm actually kind of good with that. Show header. Okay, yeah, I'm going to get rid of that header. Okay, that's great. Here, it also lets you play with the style of the badge that you want, and I'm just going to go color. I like color. That's what this is all about at the end of the day, to add as much color to my site. That's my personality. Okay, cool. I don't want any animation. I hope that doesn't work. Okay, bar placement, show bar on product page. All right, so. I'm gonna enable it. I know my badges. Okay, let's save it. See if I can test it in my store. Go to my products. Let's hope it works this time. And it's still not working. Right, something's up here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm gonna figure it out. Okay, I've done some playing around and I think I figured out what I was doing wrong. So you have to treat your app like it's an additional element on your page. And this is why I wasn't able to see it when I was adding it. So here's how you do that. Now, I want to go to my product page, especially to my template, because if I'm going to make a change to all my product pages, I'm going to change my template. That way I don't have to go through every individual product page and try to add that in. All right, so basically what I want to do is I want my payment trust badges to show up underneath my add to cart so that people, when they consider buying my products, will see that these are all the payment options they have and they'll feel more comfortable about buying it. And basically, because I have to treat this badge like an element, I have to go and click on add block in the left side section. So go to my template, I'm gonna go click on add block, and then you see there's two sections here. There's blocks and then there's apps. Apps is where I needed to go. That's where I have to find my widget. So now if you see it's shown up there, that's great, but it's not where I want it to be, and I want it to be right underneath my buy button here. So I'm going to take this and just move it up to right underneath my buy button, and let's see how that looks. Perfect. Okay, this is exactly how I wanted it to look. Let's save. Let's go back to our store, go to our catalog, and let's see if that affected every single other kind of product. Perfect. Okay, so no matter where I go in my catalog now, that app has now attached my buy buttons. Okay, so my store is looking pretty much like it's in ship shape, but before we go live, let's take it on a test drive, all right? Let's see how it's working and how it looks and try to figure out any issues before we take this store and show it to all our friends. So What I'm going to do is go back to my dashboard and I'm going to go view your store. Let's take a look at it and we're going to see if we can find any problems that we can fix. All right. So this is how my store looks. All right, pretty great. In the future, I'd like to add a little bit more menu items here. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll make this menu part bigger. I have to remember that. Make the menu part bigger. The other thing I'm noticing is that my banners are not the right size. They're getting cut off. So that's one. I got to change the size of my text to my menu. I got to change my banners. And let's see if I click through. Okay, all my product pages look kind of sort of okay. I'm just clicking through random ones right now, but I'm pretty confident they do work. Let's go to my contact section. Okay, if you want to contact me, there's my form. I also noticed that I kind of want to change the order of this. I want to go home, catalog, what is this, and contact. I think that'll be a better flow. But let's check out the what is this section. Oh, wow. That's weird. It opened up a whole other page. Why is it doing that? Hold on. Let's see if that happens again. Okay, it is actually opening up a whole nother page with my what is this section. So a couple things we need to fix before we go live. Nothing major, but let's see if we can go through it one by one. All right, so I have been struggling to try to change the font size of my menu, okay? Now, what I was assuming was that there was a place on the actual website that you could go ahead and simply adjust that. Turns out that's only half true. After a bit of Googling, what I learned is what you need to do is get a code and post that into the programming language of this page. Now, I know that sounds complicated. It sounds complicated to me too. So let's not go into the computer language. Let's just follow the instructions the good old people on the Shopify help page have posted and see if that works for us, okay? So basically, I went here, right? I Googled what should I do if my font isn't changing? And basically, this is the code that I'm getting. They say you got to go into the back end of your theme and post this code. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. So here's how they say to do it. You got to go back to your theme. Okay. Edit code. This is what's going to pop up. And you got to go down to a file called assets. And if I'm not mistaken, the folder that you're looking for is base CSS. Okay, cool. So base CSS is the one that I have selected. And they said to go all the way down to the bottom. And that's where we're going to post this. So scroll, 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 all the way down to the bottom. And then let's see, paste. I'm going to save. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, that did something to my store. Let's see if it did. Okay, let's go back. Customize. Yes! Oh my God, I did it! Thank you, Google. Mwah. All right, so this is already starting to look a lot better. But remember what I said, that I wanted to actually change the order of my menu as well, and I'm going to do that in the back end too. I am going to go to navigation, go to my main menu, and flip this around because I want contact to come after what is this, save menu, okay? Now I'm going to go back to my store, make sure everything's working, okay? But remember, there was one more mistake that I made, and that is when I click what is this, it actually opens up a separate window. We don't want that, all right? We want our customers to go straight to that section. So why is it doing that? Well, surprise, surprise, it's because I made a mistake. And what I did was, basically, when I was creating pages, so if I go back, I'll show you. When I was creating pages, I basically just copied this link, and I went to my navigation, and when it actually came into the what is this section, now as you can see, there's a link there, which is not what I was supposed to do. So I will go ahead and remove that. Now I will go and just click the section instead of pasting it. This is the mistake I made. I pasted it. I didn't actually click it to see the search function and that little menu pop up as you see here with all these options. So I'm going to click on pages and I'm going to put my what is this page. Okay, cool. Apply changes. So now if I go back into my theme, always remember to save. I've done this. I should honestly have to put $1 in a jar every time I forget to save. I feel like I'd make a lot of revenue real quick or lose a lot. I don't know how. It's a glass half full, glass half empty type situation here. So let's go back into our theme and see if that worked. So I'm going to click, what is this? Perfect. It goes straight to that page. So cool. Things are working out. Now, the last thing that I needed to change was these banner sizes. Now, remember that if we go to our preview, if I exit this and if I go to my preview, now, if we open up our page, I see, oh, wow, that's interesting. My menu sizes are still the same, even though I changed them. So I might have to make them a little bit bigger. But going back to our image banners, you see that they're actually not the right size. I thought I had the right size, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to edit that very quickly. So I'm going to Google image banner size Shopify. So the website banner, according to Google, is actually 1200 by 400 pixels. I messed that up. I put 1920 by 1080p, which honestly is just another reminder to always double check the stuff that you're Googling, all right? Okay, so I'm gonna go back into my editor here and I'm gonna resize everything very quickly. So what was it again? 1200 by 400 pixels. So I go back to my Adobe Express, I go to my resize option, and I go 1200 by 400 pixels. Now this is going to shrink some stuff, but that's okay. We'll shrink everything else to match. Resize. All right. Oh, actually that kind of worked out not too bad. So I'm going to just create a little bit of space here just to make things a little bigger. Hopefully it won't be too big. Okay. So I'm just going to make a little bit, so I'm just going to mess around with the sizing a little bit. Okay, that works for me, but I still have to resize the other thing. So we're just going to download this right now, go back and resize the other image that we had. Okay, so same deal here, 1200 by 400 pixels. Is that right? Yeah. 1200 by 400 pixels. Okay, we resize this. Now, because I generated this background using AI, what it's actually doing is regenerating the rest of the space that I need to fill. So as you can see, it's already done that. I'm going to make this, I like the way that it is, but I'm just going to make my logo a tad bit bigger here because I just want to equal things out. I think I'm fine with that kind of spacing. Go here, maybe move this a little bit that way. Yeah, I think that kind of works well for me. Okay, great. All right, I'm cool with that. Let's see if this works. So we're going to download this. Okay, and put it back on our store. All right, so go back to this image, select from library. We're going to upload some new images. Can upload both at the same time because why not, right? Okay, put that in there, readjusted that. Now, weirdly, it's still not coming up the way that I wanted it to. I think maybe my spacing is off here, but before I freak out, because that's what I did last time, I'm gonna just change everything first and then preview the site again to make sure that I am seeing what I'm seeing. Oops. Okay, select from library. Same deal, it's a little large, banner height small. Okay, so it still looks a bit wonky here, but let's see when we open up our site if it looks a little bit different. So we'll save that. If not, we'll just go back and re-edit it. All right, let's try view your store. Okay, so interestingly enough, when I open up my actual store page, it fits. But when I'm looking at it on the Shopify theme editor, it doesn't. So I don't know why that's working out the way that it is, but let's just stick with it. But if you remember, this menu font is still a little too small for me. So let's go back and see if we can change that. So I guess I'm using the wrong code. And I'm just going to go ahead and pick another font, pick another code. Maybe another code will work better. Okay, copy. This is the reason why programming language always freaks me out, because it honestly just feels like you're looking at the matrix. It's just a bunch of numbers and I don't know what they mean. So the next time you meet a developer or a programmer and you think, oh, I don't know, it doesn't sound like a real job, just know that this is what they have to deal with. Okay, so let's try pasting another code and see if this works better. All right. Save. Okay. Let's go to preview store. Okay, so my font size is bigger. Do I want it to be bigger than this? I don't think so. I think I'm happy with it. It's definitely bigger than it was before, so I'm really happy about that. But let's just click through the site real quick and make sure everything still looks okay. Right, that's fine. Okay, go to my catalog. Cool. All right, if I go to my what is this, that's fine now. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, this image that I generated for my what is this page is also a little out of whack. So let's go ahead and fix that too. Might as well while we're at it, right? Do this right. We've come this far, haven't we? Okay. So same thing, 1200 by 400, resize. It's going to regenerate the rest of the image because it's an AI generated image, which is actually pretty cool. Adobe Express, not going to lie, that's pretty cool. Lo and behold, there it is. Perfect. Go back to our page. Go back to, let's go to our what is this page. Go to this banner. All right. See, the thing is, the more you work on this, the faster you'll get because you'll know where everything is. So even though it's taken me so long to get to this point, I'm starting to notice that near the end, I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. Okay. So go back to our home page. Everything is fine. I think it's fine, at least. Okay, cool. So those are the last couple changes that I wanted to make to my store. I'm going to take a look one last time to make sure everything's fine. Okay, everything's in place. All my banners are in place. All my banners are the right side. My links are working. Okay, everything is the right side here. If you go to my balloons, okay, I got my badges. Actually, that's weird. It's kind of bothering me that my badges are off like that. See what I mean? I could do this forever. I could find little holes, little problems to pick. And this is kind of the thing that will hold you back from starting your store. You're going to think, it's not ready. Oh, I need it to be perfect. I need it to be perfect. You know what? There is something to be said about perfection, but honestly, at the end of the day, do your best, put it up, and improve as you go, right? What's interesting about this is that for some reason, the theme editor is different from the live preview of your store. Okay, so if I go here, and I go to one of my products, you'll notice that my pay bar is a little off. I don't know why that's happening, but because I'm OCD, let's see if we can't fix that real quick. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually check in the app itself. Maybe there's a setting that I've done that I'm not quite paying attention to. Okay, so the alignment is fine. So maybe it's an alignment issue. I noticed that as I was on the middle before, but this time I've moved it to the left. Hopefully that'll fix it. So let's go back to my store, customize. If I go to a product, okay, I can see that it's still there, but let's see what happens when I actually go into my live preview. Please be fixed, please be fixed. Oh, nope. Okay. Oh, goodness. I swear, every time I get so close to getting to the end of this, like 1,000 problems just pop up. And I wish I could be the kind of person where I could let it go. But to be honest with you, it bothers me. I'm a perfectionist about some things, and then I don't give a hoot about some other things. I'm sure you are like that too. And if you're not, well, teach me your ways. Okay, so I did some Googling and I played around with it. And to be honest with you, the reason why that badge wasn't centering is probably the silliest reason in the world. I thought it was going to be another back-end code matrix hacker type job, but apparently it was just something that I was missing in the app. So what I'm going to do is open up the app now. And I can do it just by clicking on this bar, my Trust Badge widget. I can just go into Manage the App. And, oh my God, this is so silly. I can't believe I got this wrong. So if you scroll down, you'll see that there is actually a badge alignment here. Now, here's the thing. I can see that it's off center, but it is set in the center. So if I move it to the left, here's what happens, okay? So I'm gonna save. I'm gonna go back to my store. I'm gonna preview it in the live mode because that's how I'm actually gonna see what it's gonna look like. And now the opposite is true. It's now totally to the left and it's just not centering. So I found another solution to this, which is you go back into your app, right? Now, if I put it in the center, it's too far to the right. If I put it to the left, it's too far to the left and it's not center. So I don't think this alignment is gonna fix our centering issue, but what I think will fix it is the actual size of the badges. So I'm gonna go to the badge size desktop and I'm gonna go from small to medium, just, blowing up our badges just a teeny bit. And if I'm correct, what it should look like is this. All right, way more centered, a little bit bigger, and my badges are way more noticeable. So I'm fine with that for now. Is it perfectly center? No, but I'm not gonna stress myself out about it. I think this is the best I can do for now, which is the golden rule. Do your best, try to get over your OCD, but at the end of the day, do it and move on. So let us now, I think this is it, check our site out one last time. Okay, cool. So I come here, I see my balloons immediately, I scroll down, see my banner, see my collections. Okay, my collections are looking pretty cool. Got it. Go back, there's my message, there's my second banner. Cool, cool, cool. Terms of service. This is the bottom, the footer of my page. Let's try opening one of these pages. Okay, great. Shipping policy. Okay, great. And yeah, now you can see my terms of service. I still need to improve them, but that's okay. There's a lot to go through here, but for now, it's in place. Everything's fine. My refund policy. Okay, cool. Awesome. Now let's go to our what is this section. Okay, my bio is in place. All right, contact form is there. Okay, I got a search bar. Okay, so now that I've come back, I think my store is in full ship shape. So is it finally time to go live? I don't know. I feel like I'm having Stockholm syndrome at this point. Like I've been stuck inside this website for so long that I kind of feel like it's never going to be there. But you know what? At this point, I think I'm ready to call it. So now let's finally see if we can take our store live. You're gonna go back to your dashboard, go to your themes, and right above the theme that we've been customizing, which is taste, you'll notice this little message here which says your online store is password protected. Basically what that means is until now, if anybody tried to enter in my store link, they wouldn't have been able to see my homepage without a password from me first, until I remove it. And there you have it. My online store is open to everyone. Look, setting up a Shopify store takes time, but we did it. The store looks absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna actually try to just type it in. Hey, there we go. And my site pops up. Perfect. Okay. I think I might have made every single mistake you could possibly make with creating this store. But you know what? If you're going through this experience for the first time, I'm sure you might have made these mistakes too, or you probably will. But use this as a cautionary tale, but also as an opportunity to learn what not to do and what to do as well. And that no problem is unsolvable, all right? That's what you got to take away from this. Sure, it takes time. It's always going to take time. It's going to take a while for you to improve your process, get feedback. Even after this, I'm going to show it to a few people and they're going to have some thoughts about it. And one of those people is going to be you. I want you to go to my website, flyingsaucerballoons.com, take a look and let me know what you think about it. What's missing? What do I need to change? Add those into the comments and let me know. Now, full disclosure, it's totally okay if you roast me. I'm fine with that. I am a first-time designer, but your comments are appreciated. Thank you so much for following along with me on this adventure. I know it was a long one, but if you want to know what happens next with this store, there's only one thing you got to do. Subscribe to Printify. We'll see you soon.